Okay, so simple double gallery, we'll do a 3-stone. The rules are the same whether it's 1 stone or 2 stones or full circle band or however that's going to work. Might also do flow on a curve or array on curve to show you how to build a bypass ring all in one. Otherwise this is a really slow lesson. So we're going to quickly knock up a stone. I'm going to make the center 1 carat, so
6.5.
yeah. Pick that up a little bit. And pick another one up and scale it in a little bit. Something like that, and then put a point down for the cule. And move it down. And then we're just going to do a loft.
Yes.
So, loft from you to you to you to you.
And straight.
Correct. Straight sections. Remember we showed how you can make it nearly more like a stone by rebuilding the edges. Doesn't matter because you'll get gems from
Peacock?
Yeah. So remember with your record history on, you can also change the shape of this gem.
Yes.
Okay, so the table looks a little bit high to me, so I'm just come down a little bit like that. All right, and then cap this. All right. I'm gonna make a circle, finger size. Bring the first stone down to there. All right. I'm going to scale that stone with copy.
Yes.
With a copy from 0, I'm going to scale it in to make my 3rd stone, like that. Bring you straight up to about the same height off the finger. All of these stones, remember, about a ½ millimeter off the finger if you can, to allow for cleanup and that kind of stuff. Alright, so I'm going to rotate this around 0, just bring it out so it's about there, and then mirror it over the other side. Okay. Actually, I should have done all of this after I finished drawing the first stone, so I'm going to delete those for now. I'm going to move that stone up a little bit because the double gallery is a little bit more space. Okay, so looking at your stone in the side view, you've got to create a bearer for the setter to rest the stone on.
Yes.
You have to create your bottom rail, and your claw should, if you can, it should be focused towards the center of the ring rail. So I'll show you what I mean by that. If you draw a line from the center out towards the edge, so you just touch against your curve there.
Okay.
Because you're going to have 4 claws here, come in a little bit like that.
Okay.
Right? But for now, that should more or less, you should try to make that the angle of what you're working with. Right?
Yes.
That means you can just grab this and move it around. Alright, so we're going to draw a bearer for the stone to rest on. It's going to be about here somewhere. Fillet all the edges and then do a revolve. I'm going to grab you, bring something like that. I think about there. I'm going to try follow the shape of the stone if you can.
Yes, I get it.
Alright. I could have just drawn that out with a curve. Doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm going to break all the corners on this. So fillet corners 0.050, I guess, something like that. This is purely for rendering purposes, so when you render it looks nice.
Yeah.
Then you're going to draw another one down here following the shape of this. You need to be a little bit higher on this one, so same deal. Let's look for intersections. So it's a snap we haven't worked with before. So there's an O snap. It looks for where things intersect. So I'm moving my mouse there. It found that there's 2 curves snap, so I can do that. Alright.
Get it.
Okay, so I've got a lot of snaps on here. Let's turn some of them off. Yeah, alright. So again, same deal with these. Just bring them in so they're kind of following that shape.
Yes.
Alright. Grab the whole lot, bring it over. Go to there.
Get it.
And then that's going to be your gap. I think that these two, oops, I think these two will come in a little bit smaller. Alright, then fillet edge again. So I'm going to look for the command up in the top. Fillet corners, I'm going to use the same amount as last time, and we're done. Alright, so you've got it in your mind's eye, remember that this is going to come all the way across, and you've got to make it tall enough so that by the time the finger size cuts out the bottom,
Yes.
that you don't cut away all the meat of it. Okay, so even though it looks heavy here,
Yes.
it's not going to be heavy by the time it comes here. It's only this high, so it's only going to be 1/2 mil tall. We may have to come in afterwards and patch that up.
Okay.
So anyway, let's grab both of these now. Remembering you can
revolve.
Shade that up. Let's have a look what we've got. Alright, looks good to me so far. I'm just going to extrude this. Both sides. And shade it. I just want to see it up. By the time we do our cut, is that going to look too thin? It is going to look too thin. So you see what I mean? So even though it looked heavier here in the side view than that,
yes.
by the time you cut through the middle, there's nothing left. So I'm going to grab these curves here.
Bit high.
And I'm going to pick them up a little bit. Just close off that gap a little bit in there. And so now that looks a bit better to me.
Okay.
I feel like this curve up here could have a little bit less. So we can sacrifice where we're coming up at the bottom by getting a little bit less on the top. Alright. That looks good to me. Okay, so let's dump this. Dump the sacrificial curve. So what we're looking for now is we're looking for the quads. So I'm going to draw a line from 0. There's a part of line that we've never seen before, right? So I'm going to draw a line here. There's a couple of ways to find exactly 45. You could rotate this line 45 degrees, or you could draw another line.
Yes.
Angled.
Okay.
From this line to that line, and what angle do you want? 45.
Okay.
Alright. It doesn't really matter how you get there. So the next one is I'm going to have to extract an edge over here. So I'm going to dupe edge. So let's say that bottom edge there. Alright. Now I want to intersect these two to get a point. Right. So I'm taking like the longest possible way that you could do something here to show you, just to give you an example, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to project this down to 0. Oops. Project to C plane, my bad. Can you see what happened in the side view when I was drawing it?
Yes.
Okay. So on the top view, I just want to project that to C plane. Okay. Then I'm going to extrude this. And I want to look for the intersection between this plane and this curve. Okay. Intersect.
Yes.
Looking for an intersection. It found one intersection. It found an intersection here. This plane traveled through this curve at this point. Now we've got the point we need. That's exactly 45 around. Now again, this is not the way you have to do it. You do it any way you want. I'm just teaching you a few new tools.
Yeah, I didn't get it. What are we doing here?
We're looking for exactly a point on the girdle of the stone at 45 degrees from center. So you could have drawn a line from 0 and used your ortho at 45 to snap.
Yes.
If you needed exactly 45, what if you needed 30? What if you needed 33.3? What if you needed to make 12 claws and you had 360? So anyway, while we're doing this, there are many different ways to do it, and you could have just guessed by eye that, okay, so my first claw is going to start about here somewhere, right? We have to make a prong that comes down exactly here at 45 degrees of center, so we can mirror and get 4 claws.
Yes.
How are you going to find exactly 45 degrees and exactly at the edge of the stone?
Okay.
Alright, so the way to do that is intersect. So I'm going to do it again for you. I've drawn a curve. It's flat out on the ground. Right.
Yes.
I'm going to extrude it through the stone. I'm going to grab this curve that we've got. Oh, where are you? That curve.
Okay.
And this surface. I'm going to run a command called intersect. It's going
Yes.
to tell me where are you two touching each other.
Okay.
And this plane is touching this curve at exactly that point. So now I can
Okay.
delete the plane, and I've got a point. So
Yeah.
now we have something to draw a curve from.
Oh, got it.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to draw a line from it. A line from you. And oops, I've got my ortho snap on and my grid snap on. And I'm going to draw you straight down for now. Okay, so when you draw any prong, try to always have your prong at least 30% into the setting. Okay, so when the prong goes, well, let me first loop it and then you'll see what I mean.
Yeah.
All right, so currently we've got just the line coming straight up.
Yes.
We're gonna go over always draw your curve if you're gonna render to halfway between the girdle and the table. If this is a model for rendering, this is where your prong ends. If this is a model for manufacturing, your prong just keeps going up. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say we're going to pick a difference between the two at the moment. And we now need a curve on the bottom of this for our rail shape.
Yes.
I'm going to do this. Let's draw a little sacrificial one down here. I'm going to rebuild that. Where's my rebuild menu? All right. 4x3, okay. Corners, okay. I'm going to bring this guy from its mid to the end of that prong. We're going to rotate it 45 degrees from that point to that point, 45. Okay, so now we have a profile that we can sweep.
Yes.
Where is my profile gone? Oh, all the way down the bottom here. Let's bring it up. And then we've got history. That means we can now start changing the angle of this. So I'm going to take this, move.
Yes.
And sweep one. All right. Bring that over. Okay. I could have just made a round pipe here, but that would have been a very boring lesson. All right, so so we kind of got this prong over here. I'm happy with where it is. I've got to bring it in a little bit, so it means we've got to move this curve. So I'm going to grab that profile, and I'm going to grab that curve. And what I meant by a third of the way in, can you see that it's only touching the outside edge now?
Yes.
Okay, bring it about a third of the way into the stone, about a third of its thickness.
Third of the prong.
A third of the prong, yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's what the setter is going to use to bite.
Okay.
All right, then I'm going to rebuild this curve here. Do we want a straight or do we want a curved prong? That's good. All right. Okay, I'm going to grab all of you guys down the bottom and I'm going to move you in like that. More. So I'm moving along that 45-degree line to keep myself nice and straight if I can. And move. Not touching too much, back a little bit. Alright, we're at the point I think where we can also array this to see how we're going all the way around the rest of our... In too far a little bit, I think. That's about right. Okay, so at this point you can array this. You're pretty much done now. Just double check all your sizes. I feel like I might have gone even a little bit too far there, but let's have a look. So array polar. Around 0, 4 of them. Okay, so now we can tweak the first one. We can play with it. We can bring the bottom up. So over there, I want to bring that up to there. And I want to bring it out a little bit. Whoopsie, I really screwed that up. Okay. And I want to bring that top point out a little bit on that curve. Oops. Okay, I'm good with that. So let's cap this guy.
Yeah.
That's going to break the history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty much we're done now. You can round these edges down. You
Yeah.
can put a bit of a fillet on them, and then you can start copying it over to the other stones. All right. If you need to make this component bigger, if you want to scale it bigger in its X and its Y, remember that you still got the history, so you can make a heavier looking prong. You can.
I thought we already broke the history.
We broke the history on the ability to change the shape of the curve.
Okay.
Okay, because we capped it, but this history remained there.
All right.
All right, so then this would be for manufacturing. For rendering, of course, come in, chop that off, bring it shorter as you need up the top here. So,
Shorter until a little bit
so
above the
for
curve.
setting, you bring it down to about this level here.
Okay,
So
half of the
yeah, so
table.
bring that about.
All right.
Now I really did break it. Okay, so I'm just going to go back. Okay, so we're going to leave that there for now. Now you can
Yes.
size all of them to make your side stones. All right, so these, make sure everything is through the finger. It is, yep. All right, so I'm going to delete all the curves. Now we've got no history left there. Cell curve, deselect this one. And the rest of those curves, don't need them anymore. All right, so these guys I'm going to group together.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to scale them smaller with copy. So scale with copy to 0, bring it down to about there. Okay. Then that becomes our second, so we can bring that up like that.
Yeah.
And rotate it till it's about there. Let's have a quick look. Stone is going into the other stone. Ooh, dangerous. All right, so we'll rotate that out a little bit more.
Should they touch each other or should they not touch each other?
You should always try to aim to have as little as possible space between the stones as possible, because otherwise when you look at the ring from the top, it looks ugly and gappy.
So as close
as you can get, but always leave yourself at least 0.2 margin under. So you can see that this stone is going to tuck in under that one.
Yes.
But even when if this stone comes right down to the bearer, it's not going to crunch that stone. When this stone comes down to its bearer, it's not going to touch that stone. From your top view, that looks great because the stones look like you've got a homogeneous, you haven't got a big ugly gap between the stones. So if you look at Threestone top views, okay, you see how you don't see gaps? Let's find you some top views. So the stone looks like it's a little bit underneath the other one.
Oh, yeah.
This one wasn't underneath enough, and you see a big ugly black gap.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Here. See here?
Yeah.
See how it looks like it's going slightly under?
Yes.
That's because it's actually below.
Okay? I get it.
It's underneath it. All right, so same deal. It looks like it's a touch in. In fact, you could probably bring this in a little bit more. But for safety's sake, I would have said that you're probably done about there now.
Okay.
So then mirror that over. Like that, then you've got your other side, and then you just got to draw yourself a shank.
Yes.
All right, so you've got these guys coming in there. So for a shank, I'm just going to do an arc. I'm going to draw a curve here. Draw a curve here. I'm going to do a blend curve. End of this curve to the end of that curve. Okay, happy with that. And then we just got to mirror this one over. You could have done that by hand. It makes no difference how you got to that. Okay. Then we need another curve to go underneath here for our extrusion. So I'm going to get rid of I'm not going to get rid of the fingernail for now. I'm going to go arc from 0. I'm going to snap onto something here. What can I snap onto? Nothing to snap onto. I'm going to snap onto this stone, go around, snap onto that stone. Okay, and scale this smaller. Okay. So we're going to
Sorry.
hide the finger oil for now. I'm drawing the inside finger oil. Again, you could have drawn a circle. So let me. I'm trying to use commands. Circle from 0, 16.8 is your finger oil. Draw a line from 0 through here where you want to cut it off. Mirror the line. There's a million ways in Rhino to do something.
Yes.
So let's mirror that. And let's trim them.
Yes.
Same way. I just went with an arc before.
Okay.
To draw a curve that stops the stars. Alright. So I'm going to now draw a line between them. You to you. And another one. You to you. I'll grab you and you and you and you. I like to normally make my shanks, if I can, to be about the width between the last prongs at the bottom of the shank. Okay?
Get it.
And then you taper it up.
Okay, get
So
it.
this over here, I would pinch up at the top now. I'm just going to use cage edit for this. Before we do cage, I'm going to do a fillet to break the corners.
Question.
Yeah.
So see, this shank is a little bit inside of the setting. Is that all right?
It must be a little bit inside the setting.
Okay.
You
So they
use
can't be touched.
What do you mean it can't be touched?
I mean, they can see this one is a little bit in right, or they can be a little bit touched.
If you're going to draw this for people to look at, it can be a little bit touch. If you're going to draw it for manufacturing, it has to be a little bit in, because you're going to print this, it's going to lose a little bit. You're going to cast this, it's going to lose a little bit. You're going to file this, it's going to lose a little bit. Then you're going to join it.
Okay.
Always
but
make your joint.
finally, it will touch, but for manufacturing. Okay.
Well, look, finally, it's actually going to be soldered together with solder.
Yes.
All right. So I've just, while we were talking about that, I've just gone in and I've tapered this, and I'm just going to do a cage edit to pinch the points. I'm going to use a bounding box, and in Z I'm going to give myself a few more points. So in Z I'm going to give myself like 7 points so that I can do this. Okay, alright, I'm happy with that. Then we need to cut off the bottom of all these prongs.
Yes.
So we need a circle back, finger size. I'm going to take this, I'm going to extrude it.
Yeah.
Could have done a wire cut. Again, just so many different ways in Rhino to do stuff. I'm just going to grab you and you and you, and I'm going to go Boolean difference with you. Okay, so all our collets are there now. All good. And pretty much we're good to go. The string's nearly ready to go to manufacturing now. I would have liked to have seen this probably softened off before we did the Boolean. If you're going to render this now, you'd go through and you'd cut off the top of these prongs.
Yeah.
So the easiest way to do that is get a line about halfway. So you see you've got the girdle, and you've got the table. That's about around about the halfway point.
Okay.
Okay. I'll ungroup this so we can do the cut. Grab all of those, and split them. That line we just made.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the balance of these I'm just going to cap. And then you can go in and fillet. Get everything here. Bah! Okay. Why did it have to go one smaller? I put a fillet in here that was 0.05.
Yes.
And then I tried to do the same fillet on the top. You have 0.05.
Yes.
The two clashed and the fillet failed, so I went to 0.04. And then the fillet worked.
Okay.
So you do the same thing again. I mean, you can chuck this away now, and you can scale that one down. So let's group them again. I'll make them a lot smaller than last time. I did too. Alright, so a lot bigger than last time. Okay, that's fine. Alright, then you don't have to go work on all of them again.
Okay.
And then basically you've got a double gallery ring. Well, one version of a double gallery ring. There's many, many, many different versions of a double gallery.
Yeah.
Alright, so now let's have a look at that setting. If we said that we like that setting, let's move it all the way